can I tell you something interesting I read somewhere, and I saw it even when I was in corporate. A big contributor to the gender pay gap, for example, because we do not talk to each other about how much money we are earning. For example, Cele, sayo tunaweza kwa brand partnership pamoja. Tuna probably push, let's say, a particular campaign.
Yeah.
Wame-engage mtu mwingine. Really, will those 3 women
never
tell each other
how much I was paid?
How much they were paid. Imagine if we talked to each other, then I realized Cele quoted 500 and they paid her. Mi sayo nimejianda quote nimejiekea 80,000 ama 100, unaona?
Saseni mkofiti, welcome to Cele's Reflection. Dun, 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 dun. I know you can see it, guys. I know it is almost that time. But before to say Merry Christmas and you start saying Happy New Year, we need to talk on this. There's something I feel like, okay, I struggle personally with it. We struggle, most of us, with it, and especially us women. So today I have a guest on set. Nimesema kabla mwaka iishe, na hata kabla tuingie msimu wa chapo, kuku, mbuzi, please. Wacha kwanza, let us discuss some finances, like matters, money matters, finances matters. Like let us gain some little knowledge that might help us. Probably itatusaidia sana pale kwa Christmas. Before you start chop, it is your money, but before you start chopping it, please, nipatie tu sikio. Tusikie from Susan, my wonderful guest today. Thank you so much, Susan.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and then we get to implement some of those lessons this coming season. Karibu sana, Susan.
Thanks. I'm so happy to finally nakuanga kwa nyuma ya screen. Sasa leo
ko.
Yeah, I'm so happy.
Introduce akiwa kujue.
Hi guys, my name is Susan. I'm Susan Wanjiku. I am a personal finance coach and I run a coaching company called The Legacy Hub Kenya. So we focus on all things financial literacy, and our mission is very simple: to make personal finance feel very simple, accessible, and personalized. Like it should not be feeling as though it is for the elite few. And my mission is to make anyone, especially people who've never attended a finance class, to begin to feel and to understand that actually kitu si ngumu hivyo venye meufikiria. So that's what we do. And yeah, I love doing it a lot.
I love how you're very passionate on empowering women. Now, I love that you've said we feel like these finance lessons are for the elite few.
Yes.
See a elite few. Even that house manager.
Yeah.
Even that mama mboga. Like una chew the inakuwa as very easy as 1 + 1.
Yeah.
If at all 1 + 1 is easy. But I love how unataka kufunza even the mama mboga aelewe mambo ya do. Because we really, personally, let me say the story ya do.
Yeah. I even do it for my DMs. Like my nani?
Wow.
Akona Zimele money market fund. Unajua mbona ni 100 bob kuweka. I remember the first time I was having this conversation with her. When she came, you know, we are told a lot of Kenyans are underbanked. And then we are like, uongo, hakuna mtu ana bank account.
Wako wengi.
Sana. So even when I was trying kumuuliza, so mbona una bank account? Yeye alikuwa ameshika bank ni ya kuchukua tu loans. So hakuna haja kusema mimi hata siwezi pewa loans na yani waizi nipea loan. Nikamwambia but a bank can do so much more for you. Hata kustop pesa sema si niko na M-Pesa. So I remember the first time nilimfungulia nikamwambia cheki, sio kuna watoto wawili shule, kuna kenye mimi kulipa na ukiacha ikai kwa M-Pesa haitakosa matumizi. So what about tuchukue a certain amount, whether ni 2k 3k, ukwe unatuma huko, ndio by the 4th month kuzukishaanza January, the next time utalipa school fees ni kama April. Hizo ni miezi nne umeweka kidogo. So utakuwa na ile pressure unakuanga nayo when the child is going back to school. Let me tell you, like the first few months she was just wowed. You see, like seeing your 1,000 growing to 1,100 and then 2,000, and you know, as you keep investing, it was very fascinating kwake kuona Na basi mbona tunaikanga kwa M-Pesa, especially since nilimonyesha ni rahisi sana
kuweka na simu kwa bank.
Yeah, so I like to do it for everyone, especially like some of those very simple companies that allow people to do even as little as 100 bob or 500 bob. I think watu waki realize kumbe kitu ni accessible for me, and that's what I really go for. Watu wa realize wacha kufikiria ni kama unahitaji 10,000
kufungua account,
kuinvest for example.
Yeah,
so I do that for them. I open pension funds for them. Whether ataenda tuachane siku moja, at least for the duration of time alikuwa kwangu, tulimwekea kitu.
I love that. Yeah. Yani umeanza hadi nyumbani.
Lazima.
Like you started with the person very close.
Yeah.
And you've said watu wengi hawana banks. And now that we are talking of women, by the way, watu wengi hawana banks.
Yeah.
Sijui tunaogopa tutakatwa ushuru. Mine was afraid account tutakatwa taxes. Because bank, kumbe even round M-Pesa utaonekana tu.
Sahi wametumulika kila mahali.
And then they thought that wanasemanga ati sina pesa mingi ya kuweka kwa bank. Pesa mingi ni ngapi na bank hata unaweza weka 500?
Yeah. It's interesting, tuko very underbanked. Like I think the more nilianza kufanya hii kazi, before nilikuwa na work in corporate shields you a lot from what's happening kwa
outside world. That's true.
So vile nilianza sa kuwork na watu one on one, ndio nilirealize but there are a lot of people generally wako underbanked kabisa.
So now I love that you're sharing some of these stories with women and money, because majority of the women hata chama tunaogopanga hata kufungua kuregister. We are used to table banking, treasurer ikange kwa kitabu. Like hata tutaki kuikuza. I don't know whether it's the norm. You're trying to challenge the norm. We are used to pesa izalisha upewe, yekelewe kwa meza, kila mtu aende nayo home, akuje na profit next time. But you don't want to open an account as a chama. Hatutaki kufanya hizi vitu. Why are we like that? Like, what is the one thing you can see women realize now in this journey of finances?
I think number one, there are two main issues, and I think we need to acknowledge ya kwanza. Financial literacy. Kusema kweli Cele, even if we put a poll on the comment section to ask people, when was the first time you interacted with financial literacy, if you've even ever interacted? In other words, ushaienda class, ukafunzwa financial literacy. This is how mtu fanya budget ukaaje. This is how this is what inflation is. Inflation inamaanisha nini? Na how do this is why you should invest. Ina sound ni kama ina sound ni kama ni sound bites na ni vitu za rich people.
Elite few.
The elite few.
Mimi mama mboga kuna
inflation hata inamaanisha nini? Na kitu funny tunaielewa kwa our own language, but vile utaenda super, hata huyo mama mboga ataenda shangai. Na mbona hizi nyanya mlikuwa mnaniuzia hivi last year na this year nikikujia stock mumeongeza. Hiyo ni inflation. But you see, we understand inflation. Now to answer your question, why for example hata kuinvest ni shida, we understand inflation as consumers. We don't understand inflation as savers. Because the effect of inflation, while it is the same, the presentation is different. For example, kama consumer unafilio pain, unaenda kwa supermarket unarealize kitu imepanda bei. Unajiuliza na kitambo watu walikuwa nenda salon 500 ilikuwa inatosha. Sahi hata exactly, unaona? So we feel it as consumers. Lakini as a saver, na hiyo ndo kitu yenye Cele the day that thing, na ujue watu wa finance pia kuna kenye tumesoma shule, but I think kuna hiyo thorough comprehension on a personal level pia really change how I think about money. Because now inflation for you as a consumer is it's that you feel it. You go to the supermarket, una realize indeed imepanda. But sasa as a saver, it's even worse. Nataka nikupe example ya watu watatu. Tuchukue Wanjiku, yeye anekanga pesa kwa M-Pesa ama hata hizo zenye umesema merry-go-round chama, si ndio? Alafu tuweke Cele, yeye anapenda kuweka kwa bank. In fact, Cele amerevuka kidogo, yeye anekata kwa fixed deposit. Inampea kama 6% hivi ama hata 7%. Anajua kulock. Ama hata mshwari kwa na lock savings.
Una lock savings.
Una lock. Then tupatane na maybe msee mwingine Kate for instance anawekanga kwa money market fund, right? Nataka kukuonyesha how inflation itawa affect. Tuseme hii mwaka ianze January, nipe kila mtu hapo 100k, right? Nipe Wanjiku 100k
apeleke kwa chama.
Yeye ajue sasa hizo table banking kwanza ataingia ka 5 ndio distribute 20k.
Na ziko na ka interest.
Aya, some of them don't actually merry go round for example inanga. Ni ile tu unafanya 6 months mwenye amekula anakula hiyo lump sum, si ndio? So tuseme tuko sisi because merry go round si zote uko na interest. Unakwanga umeka 20k tukiwa watatu, sasa kila mwezi every 3 months mi napata the 60k. The next month when unapata 60.
Kuna zile zina interest.
Sasa inflation in Kenya right now, if I estimate what inflation is at, it's probably at 5%. Okay? What does that mean? Hiyo inamaanisha the cost of living every year in Kenya inaenda up by 5%. So wacha tuanze na mtu ana earn 0 interest. Hiyo ni kwa hiyo normal bank account, pesa yako tu inakanga kwa M-Pesa ama hata cash. Umeistore, you stored money. So hii imegrow by 0%, but inflation imegrow by 5%. Yeah? So Kenya hii 100,000 ingekufanyia this year, next year haiwezi. You get 95%. Because sasa you're at -5 in terms of purchasing power. Aya, Cele at least alirevuka kidogo, akamwa lock savings inakupea 6% ama fixed deposit. Aren't you to observe what is happening here? Inflation imegrow by 5%, but do yako imegrow by 6%. So your real return here is 1%. You are 1% richer. Then sasa kuna Kate achukue again money market fund, maybe hiyo inampea 11%. Kama hiyo nimesema nimefungulia like my nanny. They get 11 or 12% per annum on any money you have there, right? Inflation, it grew by 5. It's still standard. But her money has grown by 12 or 11%. So you see this person, is 6% richer, right? Watu wote December, as much as walianza mwaka na 100k, hawatamaliza mwaka the same way. Depending on where you store your money. You get? So that's a very simple financial literacy concept yenye hata mimi in my years of going to school, because my undergrad is in economics and finance. There's what you soma and you're like, yes, inflation until you understand how it affects you on a personal level. And Cele, it looks very kidogo, but acha nikwambie sasa extrapolate your story for 5 years. Uiendelee venye amekuwa hao watu 5 wataitoshana. Kuna mmoja hapo watu watakuwa nadhani anafanyanga nini funny business. Just from there, where you store your money matters.
Like that's what I'm thinking. Just from this simple
just from that, just from where primarily do you usually store the money you're not using? Because the money I'm using, it's probably kidogo kwa wallet na kidogo kwa M-Pesa. Kama sipendi kukana a lot of money. Bro yangu juzi alikuwa ananijokia akiniambia ati ile siku God forbid, but ati nikipatana wale watu wa kunyonga mtu wanaweza nichapa vibaya sana. Unaweza nipata hata na 3. So imagine unaweza nipata hata na 3. So sana cash.
It is not even a good thing to have money on your. Why is it seated there? Like why is it seated there?
Alafu temptations kasa hivi yenye tunaenda sasa, we in the Christmas season, tuko holidays, watoto wako home. It's just sasa hizi ndio vitu nakwambia, especially for us women. I don't blame us. I blame number one the system, the fact that financial literacy haikuwa accessible. We were not taught. So unless we mwenyewe you go out of your way, watch videos, usome vitabu when the classes, ndio utajua hizo vitu, alafu utajua there's kujua the information, but there's also kujua what you will do about that information.
Kusai tumeisikia
lakini now how does it apply to me?
I won't lie. Unata hiyo story, hiyo example, hata ukaenda pale kwa Mambogo wapatie example ya percent, ya atashindwa. Bado there's a lot of teaching that needs to, because naelewa ni sawa nikilock katakuwa like ita grow. Bado kuna mseelewi ina grow aje. Ailewi like
na hizi ni vitu tunafaa tu hata kwa education system tulianza kitambo. So the second issue, so the first one was that now an example of financial literacy. The second thing is a confidence issue, especially for us women. Tuna struggle na a lot of number one, imposter syndrome. Tuna struggle na confidence. Utapata hata the choices we make in terms of where to store our money versus our brothers, our uncles, our husbands. And the truth of the matter is that when it comes to wealth creation, the lower the risk, the lower the return.
Yeah, the higher the risk.
If you go medium risk, at least you're attracting
Medium
a bit
return.
medium return.
The higher the risk.
The higher the risk, the higher the return.
And
also.
we are not risk takers.
We are not risk takers. We are always on the defensive. We want to play safe. And one thing I love to tell people, you can't save your way to wealth. It's a fact. It's a painful fact. But you can't save your way to wealth. You have to invest. If you want to make money and if you want to be wealthy, you have to invest. You can't, hakuna mtu ati kazi yake ni kusave akakuja akakuwa wealthy. Because the difference between saving is that saving ni capital, kupreserve tu hiyo do uko nayo. So utai multiply. Kuinvest ndio sasa inafanya hiyo do yenye uko nayo kidogo, hiyo 10,000 kesho ikue 20. Mwaka ingine igrow ikue 30. Sasa you see, you cannot be an investor na ukatae kutake risk. Naona, because hakuna investment in the world yenye ni risk free. No. So for us women, you'll find that we just want, and that's why chamas work for us so much. You just want, you feel like some form of control.
Yeah.
But mtu akikwambia cheki, kuna hizi special funds, nazikopoa na unaanzanga kwanza kufanya hesabu ya kwanza zinaitwa special kwa nini? Kwanza nini? So you've already talked yourself out of it. Maybe our counterparts, you find someone is just like, ai, kwa nini? Mpaka mbaya, wacha kwanza nichukue 50k kwanza nione venye hiyo investment ita turn out. So I feel like with women, we are working our way out of it slowly. But as I coach, because that's what I do on a full-time basis, I find that we really struggle with that confidence. Yeah, even trusting your own intuition, being able to even say, what, let me try. You're putting yourself out there and just let me try and see. I think we struggle a little bit with confidence.
I think that answers my question, because I was also wondering, why is it, does it ever feel uncomfortable talking about money with people? Like even for women, hata kusema, wanaume utasikia tu akitaja tu, like ni kama kitu, mimi by the time nakwambia hiyo kitu ni pesa ngapi? Why do you feel like, is it the confidence thing?
It's also it's culture, but also now the confidence, because you see, for the longest time, especially in African households, money is not a dinner table conversation. No. The most you ever heard from your parents about money is it does not grow on trees, na hakuna. But very few people have examples of, bethe mzai wangu ndo mwenye aliniambia nifungue hii account. Ama yeye ndo aliniambia nona. So we internalize that and we grow up feeling like money conversations are a taboo. Yeah. So
actually don't even tell people how much you earn.
For example.
Naweza fanya.
Now, can I tell you something interesting I read somewhere, and I saw it even when I was in corporate. A big contributor to the gender pay gap, for example, yes, kuna systemic issues za years and years of wanawake kukua nyumbani, na wanaume ndo walikuwa industrialization venye ilikuja hao ndo walienda kwanza. See, the females stayed home, gave birth to babies, looked after the household. Yeah. There's that. But there's also the fact that we do not, it contributes to us being underpaid in the office, because we do not talk to each other about how much money we are earning. For example, Cele, sayo tunaweza kwa brand partnership pamoja. Tuna probably push, let's say, a particular campaign. Wame-engage mtu mwingine. Rarely will those 3 women
never
tell each other
how much I was paid,
how much they were paid. Imagine if we talked to each other, then I realized Cele quoted 500 and they paid her. Mi sayo nimejianda quote, nimejiekea 80,000 ama 100, unaona? So even in an office space, I read somewhere that it's very, very important that we begin to talk to each other, so that even when you enter into that negotiation room, unajua you are your peers ama your colleagues or market rate at least.
Market rate. Actually, market rate
ni nini? Unaona?
Yeah.
Na kitu nimenotice, you were saying how men are a bit easy on it. By the way, they really banter a lot. Inakwanga na by the way ulibai wapi? Wacha kwanza nikwambie kuna chum, kuna nini. I think it's not at a perfect even on their end, because there are men who still will not be very open about talking about money. But I feel like with us and I don't think it is intentional gatekeeping. Again, it is that sense of taboo. We also feel a bit of shame. We also feel ni kama watajua mambo yangu sana. Women, we struggle a lot with that shame. And it's called shame because
it's shame.
It is shame.
And
let me tell you, the two worst emotional feelings are guilt and shame. Because those ones, they thrive in secrecy. They thrive in secrecy.
But once you talk about it, there's no shame. Like once it's out, there's no shame.
And if I had $1, Cele, for every time nimedhani niwe peke yangu nina go through, let's say, at a tough financial time, walai, alafu ninaketi tu na bishte yangu, namwambia kaini kwenu kuko hivi, juu biashara imepotea, kuna hii, alafu una realize bishte yako anakwambia, guy, I thought I was the only one. So naona niko nadhani mimi nikiona huko social media mna thrive.
I know.
But genuinely, like, the more we talk to each other, unakuja una realize hata wa groceries kwa wanashindwa kupambana na hiyo budget, hata huyu. So we realize we are all living the same experiences in this economy.
Just
so
that
we don't talk about it, and that's one of the things nilianza. The more I learned about it, even in my friendship circle, this is something we've actively been working on, talking to each other about money. Like, by the way, una earn how much? Kwetu sasa sahi, at least in my friendship group, okay, it's not big, we are just 3 of us.
It's enough.
But like hakuna siri.
But you see, even 3 is okay, because hata 2 ni hard kujua na.
So tunaulizanga, umepata job mpya? Contract inasemaje? Nini? Yani tunaongea.
Hata tusaidiane kusoma hiyo contract tuichambue.
So the more you do that, ama hata simple things like being able to tell each other, I can't afford it, because also women, we do a lot of people pleasing. So now we've also normalized, like, for example, in my friendship group, saying I can't afford it. I always say there's no shame, and you should be in friendship circles where you are allowed to say I cannot afford it. So saa zingine watanita tukakunywa chai, sayo niko chini, mi naambia cheki, mi unless mnilipie siezi.
And it should be like that.
And it should be okay.
It should be like that.
Yeah. So it's a practice thing. We need to start practicing to unlearn that secrecy and that shame.
That's true. And I feel once we are open, because now that's the next thing, we are open about money, it reduces even all this negativity. And because you see, if you tell them sina pesa, it is out. Like nikikuja mtalipa, si nifike kwa meza nianze kukaa, nilikunywa nikapati alafu
imagine, alafu unaanza kusema utanitumia nikurudishie, na hata utanilipia nikurudishie, na sayo hata you know at the back of your mind hauna. It would have been easy ungekuwa honest. Ungesema, ladies, I really miss you and I want to hang out with you guys, but sahi niko chini. So take it or leave it. Actually utapata maybe hata, I mean, I've done that severally, Cele, mimi.
But you can only do that to your close friends wenye mnajuana, you're open with.
Na imagine kuna nights wamekuwa, sawa basi tutaonana Friday hiyo ingine, wajafanya anything about it. And that's still okay. And then there are Fridays wameniambia, wacha hizo jokes, hebu kuja tutakulipia. You get, so even at the point I'm leaving my house and going, I know they are aware. I'd already communicated, I mean not, ama kuingizwa chama ya 10K. Na we unaingia tu na
it's because they don't know how much you earn. So it's like we need to break the silence on money.
We need to break the silence on money.
People really need to. So what will be some of the changes? I'm already seeing them once we start learning from each other's financial, you know, because you have your own experience. If you talk to your friend, pia ana learn 1 or 2 things from it. I'm assuming we'll become better.
For sure.
But we must first of all talk about it. Kama hapo kwa contract, si uficha contracts
sana.
Kwani
hata utakange watu wajue mali. You know, even
feels like it's so wrong though kupatia mtu contract yako asome.
But why?
Ndio najiuliza sahi why?
Like there's no reason other than the fact that you've just been told mambo mtu uficha. We inherited that. We don't know why we do it. We just do it because that's what was taught to us. And that's what, of course, let me put this as a disclaimer, guys. Just exercise discretion and wisdom. I'm not saying every random Wanja and Wanjiku that you meet on the road.
You tell them how much you earn.
Unaona. But at least the people who are your nasemanga unaona every girl needs a committee. Kila mtu anakuanga na kamati hapo yake, si ndio? So if we are close enough to spend money, Cele, every Friday sisi yao branch, Sundays, if we are close enough to spend money together, we should be close enough to talk about that money. Otherwise, tunawestiana time na tunadanganyana. Because why is it that we are so comfortable spending it, but we don't want to ask each other, how
much do you make it?
Or even, what are you doing to make money? Niko stuck. What are you doing?
Ndio tupate za kuspend.
Ndio tupate za kuspend, but we are so comfortable spending together. For me, it's like you're not good enough to spend money with, to me, if you're not good enough for us to have a conversation about money. Wow. So that has done, again, my circle now has just
smaller.
Because we have to talk about it. Yeah.
That's true. Wow. Hey, guys, are you ready to talk about money with your friends? Because kwanza hii msimu. Because that's where we become, kuna kwa na hatred, yeah, she's traveling, she's doing this, we don't know what she does. Hata utafeel aje. Like, we just meet her, tuna okay, siku force, venye tu umesema, be wise as you share. We are not forcing you to go out and tell them, this is what I can do, this. So I wanted to know, Susan, now that you talk about women, money, how do we ask for our worth?
Oh, wow.
Confidently.
Yes.
Because now you see we are confidence natumiza mahali, but like Celestine, I know for sure this is my worth. I don't know how to ask for it. Akiniambia, si iko juu sana, nasema basi uko na ngapi?
You know. Immediately. Maze unajua, that's the worst thing unaweza fanya hata on an employment basis or even business. Iyo inakwanga, you've already devalued yourself by asking, and I learned that very late. Kitambo, hata si kitambo sana. Cele nyata mmekuwa, at least nyi mnaelewa online. Nyi mnaelewa online. Lakini mi feel venye nyi mnaifanya very well, mnaelewa online kutushinda kama sisi wenye tumekuja juzi. Do you know, for the longest time, I didn't even have a rate card. Do you know why I didn't have a rate card? Now that I think about it in retrospect, I did not think I'm good enough for anyone to work with me to the point ati wanaweza nilipa. So the first step to getting paid your worth has nothing to do with people or brands. It's your own internal story about what you tell yourself about you. Because Cele, as long as you feel I'm worthless, they can't even pay me, I'm not even good enough, I'm not educated enough, I'm not pretty enough. Like, that's your internal narrative about yourself. It doesn't matter if 100 of us think you're worth it. It doesn't matter if 100 of us think you're pretty. It doesn't matter if 100 of us think, Maze, your content is fire. Your internal narrative and what you believe about yourself is where we need to start. Because I can't override your own beliefs about yourself. No. Alafu, iyo kitu ya sasa ati customer anakuja ama brand ama hata tuseme iyo kuuliza mtu ati nataka napenda nguo, unashonanga nguo ni supu sana, unafanya na ngapi? Alafu unaambia huyo msee, wewe uko na ngapi? Do you know what that communicates about you? That you do not know your worth. You get, so you see a lot of it is very internal. Maybe I can share a bit of a vulnerable story. It's not obvious now because that part of my life was not online, but one of my biggest struggles in life was self-esteem. And now you can't tell it. You can't, but since I don't know whether it is an inherited thing, ama tu ni zile vitu nili grow up nikiona. But from the earliest memories I have of myself, I had a battered self-esteem for the longest time, So I used to, and I was really, like, I was book smart, but we were also really, really, really poor. So I feel like that was contributing a lot to venye unajiona. Kwa hiyo esto yetu, nafeel nikasa niko therapy. Kwa hiyo esto yetu yenye tulikuwa tunaishi, I think iliniingia over time because sisi ndio tulikuwa watu wa kusaidiwa. Watu wengine wote wamejiweza, nyinyi ndio wa kusaidiwa. So hata zile nguo unavaa ni handmade gowns, maybe watoto wa estate hata labda wanajua anaona ile ni ile nguo ya nani ama you know. So I think that contributed quite a bit to how I grew up with a low self-esteem, yeah. So because sometimes people tell me, but how? Like I get all of these things you're saying. We should have confidence. We should know our worth. But the moment tu nimesimama mbele watu naanzanga tu kutetemeka. Ama like, you know, there are people who wonder like, how will I get out of it? You get? So for me, one of the things that I did is that I think the first step is actually acceptance that this is a struggle for me.
Yeah.
I don't know my worth. I fear talking to people. When my boss calls me in the office, he wants, you know, even sometimes people even turn down tasks that could even contribute to you getting a promotion because you don't even believe in yourself. You're like,
That's
you've been given an opportunity to lead a project. You're already you've talked yourself down so much.
Yet you're capable. Yeah.
You see? So you have to do very, very practical things about it. When I was in third year in KU, our church had a program, a personal development program, and it was a 10-week program. I feel like that was the first investment, and I'm not even the one who paid for it. Yes, I was paid for by someone so I was in the worship team in church, I'm leading and stuff like that, but then they also used to know I'm financially challenged. Yeah. So I think walikuwa tu, hiyo program ilikuwa 40,000. By then,
that's a lot of money. School fees.
Yeah. 40,000 nitoe wapi?
Ya mwaka, school fees ya mwaka hiyo time.
So I was sponsored to attend, and that was 10 weeks. Yeah. That was the first ever investment ambayo na feel ilini change, because I think a lot of us see udhani ikitu tu usimame in front of the mirror
I am capable.
worth it, I am capable,
I am enough.
I am enough. Well, that is
affirmation.
Yeah, well, affirmations are good. What most people do not understand is that your low self-esteem and your lack of confidence and your lack of knowing your worth is a symptom of something. It's not the actual disease. It's not the actual problem. Maybe kuna vitu uliambiwa na mama yako, teacher, watu around you, kama mimi, that experience of just always growing up to being the disadvantaged child or family, you know. So the more I kept kind of like attending those, so tulikuwa nafanya very simple things, by the way. Vitu zenye hadi leo, I think that program really impacted me, for example. You know, with around these two small activities, let me give you examples of some of the things we would do as a personal SWOT analysis. For example, SWOT is what are my strengths? So she would make us really like write down, what am I good at? What is my skill set? Do you know that assignment? Nilikuwa ka number last kwa your class. By week 3, every week, mi bado sikuwa figure out
your strengths, your weaknesses.
Sina, mimi, W ni weaknesses, O ni opportunities available to someone with my strengths and skill set, and then T is the threats that I face, right?
The threats.
Maybe I'm in an unsafe relationship, that could be a threat. Finances could be a threat and stuff like that. Yeah, I was able to figure out weaknesses. I had a long list of my weaknesses.
Do you not sisi hata wengine hatujui hata our strengths and our weaknesses?
And you see, we think it's a trick question even when someone asks you a simple question like, Cele, tell me about yourself. We feel like kwani niko interview. We are not aware. Hiyo inaitwa self-awareness, because that's what that program was all about. It was to now get you to know yourself beyond what people have said about you.
Yeah. Beyond
what mommy said, daddy said, the teacher in the school, your circle of friends. Like now getting to find out, it's like, hi Susan, nice to meet you.
Like this is Susan.
Now this is who Susan is. This is her strengths. This is her skill set. And I did that. We kept like doing that and stuff like that. And that's when I began to realize, bethe sijaijijua.
Unajuanga tu kenye watu wanasema about
na
you.
Negatives. The negatives are loudest always. Forever
true.
In life than
That's
the
true.
positive. We focus more on the negatives than the positive. Even with money, we always focus on the negatives and not the positives.
That's
you get?
true.
So, and for women specifically, I always say that when a woman wants to change her money, she has to change herself. There's no shortcut to it, because money is more emotional than it is Excel and numbers. Like actually your success with money is 80% emotional and mindset and 20% head knowledge. I mean, Cele, sisi wote tuko na bare minimum head knowledge. Right now in the day and age of YouTube, social media, chat GPT, everyone knows they should save.
Yeah.
They should invest. You should manage your debt well. Everyone knows you should, let's say,
Where
budget.
you can get money.
Yeah, how you can. Like we have the head knowledge, right? So why are we not doing those things? It's because head knowledge only contributes to 20%. 80% is how well can Susan take a camera and say, hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be talking to you about the 3 simple ways you can pay debt. That was confidence. It had to take me believing in myself, believing in the knowledge I have in my head, and then also getting the confidence to put myself out there.
Then you make more money.
Then I make more money. Then when I make more money, this debt that I was struggling with, I begin paying it down. And then I start invest. You see, it has started up there from, am I confident enough to come and say, hi, Cele, I'm a virtual assistant. This is my portfolio. In case you ever need help with ABCD, feel free to reach out. Here's my profile, for example. You see, so a lot of it is emotional. It's your mindset. It's how you view yourself. It is whether you believe you can actually do this. Na sisemi manifesting. Nasema tu, wewe sisemi ati those
you acting. You acting.
Yeah.
It's like whatever is in your head, you're bringing it into life.
So you see that whatever it is, it's really, really important for us women. That's key. Like, how you feel about yourself and how you show up and the version of yourself you are in a particular season, it will show. Because mimi venye sasa nilianza kuheal iyo, like my lack of self-esteem, nikaanza kujiput out in places. Mi hata nilikuwa nasema hata siwezi enda ma conference. Kusai kwanza niko tu like, I'm already feeling I'm inferior. Alafu unaona I'm 4'9", I'm already inferior. Like I'm short.
She's shorter than me.
I imagine I'm shorter than most people. So there's that, you feel like mi ni kadogo physically, but pia you're feeling mi ni kadogo emotionally. Like you feel small.
Now you enter in rooms.
Yeah. And let me tell you, I used to go and sit at the back because I don't want someone to see me. I don't want someone to see me. I don't want to. I feel small. And imagine it was all in my head.
And that's how most women are.
We feel
like
small.
We have crazy ideas.
Yeah.
You're in this boardroom. You just need to talk. Idea yako ichange. Ipeane solution ya ikitote
but hauwezi.
And that's how we are.
And that's how we are. So and if simple things, like it could be religious settings. I think I nili heal from different areas. Kama your program, nikaanza attend vitu church, kujieka hapo, nani ata lead worship Sunday, ninajitolea. You see, it's practice. It's a practice thing because you see, you've learned staying small since maybe you knew yourself. So because that you picked that up over many years. Some of us are in our 30s and 40s and 50s and we are still there. It's not gonna happen overnight. So you have to actually now begin to unlearn that and to practice in small ways. Kukiwa na baby shower, jitole ku MC iyo baby shower. Kukiwa na, you get like in small ways, begin to now put yourself out there, right? And I trust you. Trust me, it's gonna reflect in your office. It's going to reflect in your business. Some people have very, very good products. They can't even put a camera on their face to sell the nice handbags that they have.
Mimi naonekana kwa TikTok. Mimi tu biashara yangu mimi sitaki.
Yeah. So hiyo kwenda conference ukisikia iko hapa, zingine hata ni za free. Kusikia kuna hii kitu ingine unaenda, all that, like it built me up. Yeah. And then eventually going to therapy, because I have to be honest with you, a lot of it, as I said, was very deep seated. Ilikuwa vitu sijaiambia mtu. Hata mmoja, hata sikuwa na imagine naweza ziongea. So the more I also went into therapy, I dealt with my childhood trauma, nikadeal na hizo madhogodhanio zote I had to deal with growing up. It's like dirty water came out and cleaner water was just, coming in. And I feel like that is, other than my head knowledge, just me working on myself is a big contributor to now how much money I'm able to command. Yeah.
Because now you feel I'm
confident.
Totally worth it. Yeah.
Like I'll give you a rate card in dollars.
Yeah, I don't care about, if you're not okay, it's not my problem.
Yeah.
It is your problem. Okay. So when it comes to finances and relationship, because that's another angle where we have this.
yangu imesha nini?
Ushanijibu, like, but okay, my question
let me fix my face.
Then let me rephrase my question. When it comes to finances, especially women with their family, be it their spouses, be it their kids, how are we supposed to maneuver that area? I know it's wide. I know it's very wide. But maybe just simple things. Simple things.
I think I'd like to pick from what you've said. I wasn't even at shocked. It is just that it really annoys me when money, the way it's like, the way when a man has a lot of money and when a woman has a lot of money, the way society handles those two people is so different, and it's very annoying. Yeah, it's like we don't have the right to have a lot of money. You know, it's
illegal for a woman to have a lot of money.
Yeah, and you see it even in the dating pool. Like some of this, you will read a lot of. There's a day I found myself on a very dark corner of the internet on TikTok, and you see how certain people think about, oh, you know, hata siwezi oa dem ako hivi na you're like, okay, so nafaa kukua chokora uko nje ndio nikuwe marriage material. You understand? Like, it's very unfortunate that that's how we think. And I really like to challenge especially men, because for me, I feel like a woman who has her money right is an asset.
Yeah.
If you get that kind of a woman, the family, it's benefiting, right? But anyway, to answer your question, there's no blanket rule as to how people should handle finances in a marriage setting. But I will give just my own personal principles, right? So let's start with, before marriage, there's dating.
Yeah,
right?
dating.
I do not recommend doing this with your finances during dating.
Having joint accounts.
Yes, like what? Just in dating, they should just be his money and her money.
Yeah.
There should not be our money.
Yeah.
Because there's no legal protection around what would happen
in case.
Yeah. Because now you see in marriage, there's that now, the legal protection of a marriage certificate, for example, or whatever it is. I know, hey, that's a whole other conversation, but it's still financial.
Yeah.
So with dating, I think one of the things I always, just because we're not putting our money together, I'm not saying we should not be discussing money. Now that I'm in marriage and I've been married a while, one of the things I would do better if I went back is the conversations we used to have when we are seated at cafe wasting time and money there. Okay, well, we were getting to know each other, because I feel like a lot of us are having there's right conversations and whatnot and fun conversations, but I think we also need to have difficult conversations.
Money.
And one of the difficult conversations when you're dating should be money. Because I find it very unfortunate that some couples end up realizing that, I married a spender who in fact is borderline gambling, and I didn't know about this until we got inside marriage. So that means we were not talking about money, or at least being transparent with about money when we were there, when we were dating.
Could it be the behavior came in later?
I mean, yes, it could come in later, but I feel like there are aspects about our finances, because everyone has money personalities. Me, I could be a hoarder. Me, for the longest time, I'm now unlearning it, but I'm a hoarder. And you might think it's a good thing because you save a lot, but it is also a bad thing, Cele. Can I tell you one of the weaknesses of hoarding? Number one, you will struggle investing, because investing requires you to let go of money. Hoarding pesa inakwanga tu kwa M-Pesa, chini ya mattress, hata watu wameka kwa briefcase.
Uko tu nayo.
Na unatakanga ukiingia tu kwa bank hapi hivi unaona your balance una feel fit. You're like, oh, bado iko ni 1.9. Yes. Like you hoard and just, you feel nice seeing
the money
there. In fact, it's not about niceness. For me, I know it was about security. I was feeling safe. You get? So you do not, sometimes you have to invest in a business for you to make money. Sometimes you have to invest in that money market fund, buy that bond. Like hoarding, number one, will actually prevent you from putting your money to work. Another disadvantage of hoarding is, na hii maybe ni social. Ushaiona watu washwa na pesa za wenyewe. Nika unakasirika ukiona watu wengine Malaysia. Genuinely, like you're just, it's like you do not know how to spend on yourself.
So you as the holder, you're
mad. You're mad
and
at
you have
people.
The money.
You're mad. Yeah, you're mad at the world. Like for the longest time do you know my friends, I remember, was it 2017, 2018, but a lot was going on there. One of my friends asked me, Susan, kwa nini unatembea ukikaa homeless? Unajua hiyo kitu ilini hit. Alinita tu kando. Akaniuliza mbona unakaa hivi?
And you have money.
Nywele inakaa venye inataka. Like you don't even spend on your you're even mean to yourself.
Ando tunasemanga ndo masonko.
Bro, apana. There should be, I always tell people, you should have a healthy relationship with money. And any extremities are not healthy. You want to be able to build a healthy relationship. Cele unafanyia nani kazi kama uwezi tengeneza hiyo nywele kibit? Like what is the money for? Because you see, money should not be your identity. Your net worth is not your self-worth. You get? Like money is a tool. You should use it as a tool. So there's all that disadvantages. Then spenders tunajua mashida zao zote.
The opposite of a hoarder.
Kuna spenders. And we have actually 5 main money personalities. Yes, we have hoarders, we have spenders, we have saver splurgers. You know a saver splurger? That saver splurger does not struggle with saving. In fact, unaekanga, unakuwa disciplined, unafanya 52-week challenge. Wewe pale chums umeweka. Lakini siku moja
unaimaliza yote.
Utaamka ufanye kitu inaitwa retail therapy.
Afanye kitu mzuri ama afanye kitu mbaya?
No, I mean just an impulsive thing. It's almost like you were saving up the money maybe to buy a bond.
Will you buy it?
No. Like you've splurged. Like you just, that's what we call retail therapy.
After 52 weeks.
Yes. And it happens to more people than you would think, by the way.
You save it, you're disciplined ya kusave, alafu ikifika kuspend.
Yeah, and a lot of it ni yo, unaona yo overly kujinyima. Again, I preach balance, even to all my clients. Okay. Because you see, umejinyima one day, and this is the same reason why, for example, for me, diets don't work.
That's me and chapati.
Yes.
Auntie to say that's me and chapati.
Yeah, diets.
Unajinyima, ile siku chapati inapatikana. I understand that.
You get?
Yeah.
So even when I'm helping my clients do a budget, we have a budget line for what I call guilt-free spending. And I force all my clients to allocate money every month for guilt-free spending. If you do it, ushaiona mtu amezoea kitu. Umeshazoea. Hata unanga shughuli nayo. But like you're overly restricting yourself. If you want your budget to fail, make it rigid. Rigid budgets always fail. That's why you'll forever be doing a budget hadi you give up because you're like, by the budget in me you are kingi. Hata sifuatangi. Number 1, aujaifanya vizuri, aujeka all the necessary categories, hata uja take into account vitu kama guilt-free spending, miscellaneous costs, the money you give for baby showers, bridal showers, bereavement contributions, the money you send back home every 2 weeks that your mother needs chumvi and makaa and I don't know what. Like we don't take all these things into account. So it's not that the budgets always work since time immemorial. A good and a well done budget, it'a work. Hata kama sahi Christmas. Can I tell you a hack I learned in, for example, 2019, when I now, maybe 2021 or 2019, there's a concept I like to teach. It's called the concept of sinking funds, for example. So hii mwezi inakuja, what will be happening a lot is that watu watakuwa nangoja salo zolipwa mapema December.
Ukoma
between 15th and 20th most people watakuwa wamepata. Sasa kwa sababu lazima tuenjoy, tutatumia hiyo mshahara, si ndio? I mean, it's true. We have to spend. Then
hakuna school fees December.
January itakani kama iko na 77 days kwa sababu imagine salo wametulipa 15th 20th ati ndio inafaa iende hadi 31st
end of January.
No. So I started teaching my clients the concept of a sinking fund, and the concept of a sinking fund is so simple. Christmas has never changed its day. It is 25th of December of every year without fail.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So you know this is a predictable thing. It will forever come up. It will happen. So instead of like burying my head under the sand and just saying, itaji sort, for example, I can decide from January, hii ikiisha juu kwa wenye like, labda wanawatch sahi imeenda. Ishaenda.
Iya kuna sinking fund.
Isha sink. But from next year, January, ukiamua tu utakoneka 2,000 every month. Unafungwa hata kani kama money market tu mahali. Uweke 2,000 every month, useme ni ya December 2026. That's an example of a sinking fund. By deck, you will have a whooping 24,000 that is not part of your salary for December to chop like this without feeling like kai na nimenunua uniform, nimenunua school fees, nimefanya hivi. You get like or if you get even 3,000, that's 36,000.
That's a lot of money in
3,000 every month from January. By deck you have a whooping 36,000. You can even just mali salary tu ilingia itakaa hapo hata amtaonana nayo.
Tuiguze January tukilipa school fees.
Because you had, let's say for example, a Christmas sinking fund. And it just, you know, that's how you can buy your children clothes, gifts, you throw down utapika, kama mna travel you need to do a bit more maybe. But the whole idea is unajitolea hiyo pressure. That's how to, you know, that's how to go about it. Unajitolea pressure. So you see, that's something that should be on your budget. So you see, it's not hiyo kujirestrict hivyo ati mpaka hata uwezi eka hizo vitu. If you value travel, it should reflect somewhere on your budget. If you know you spend quite a bit of money on skincare, inafai reflect on your budget. Kama unajua unapenda kusupport ma children's home, unapenda kufanya some charity work throughout the year, it should. So yani budget si kitu ati, I think watu wanaangalianga tu huyu ni mtu wa finance, serious, accounting, nini, just relax. Relax, just ask yourself. For me, I've always told people, a budget is simply an intentional spending plan. Who doesn't want to be intentional?
Everybody
about
wants
their
to
money?
be intentional.
Yeah, so what would you like to be intentional about? Making my hair, giving my brother a 5,000 allowance every month, paying electricity, nini. A lot of us, I think, tukishafanya tu how, utilities,
rent, school fees,
transport,
food, Wi-Fi,
umemaliza.
Transport.
Ushamaliza ku
and then sa kuna hizo vitu za baby shower,
hizo vitu zote, unaona. So that's why I'm saying that healthy relationship of realizing nothing is too fancy or too little to fall on your budget. So ukiona massive splurge wenye nakwambia ni hao watu wanakwanga unataka tu kujinyima. Ati mi coach tu, mi naambianga client wangu boss niambie utajinyima. Mi najua kuna mtu ako capable kujinyima forever. So let's tengeneza a budget yenye hata 5 years from now utakuwa una feel ukweli niko na hiyo proper balance. Yes, kuna yenye natumia, kuna yenye na invest, kuna yenye nalipa na save hivyo. Yeah. So your money personality shows up in how you deal with money. So for example, in relationships, it's good that couples know that about each other, right? Now in marriage, again, there is no blanket rule, but I would like to categorically state a few things. Okay. Especially with some of the experiences and the conversations I have with some women in my coaching class. Kitu ya kwanza, I know there's, and this might sound controversial, there's that narrative that we have always been sold that when you get married, you are one. And it's not a narrative, it's true. I'm a Christian, so I believe in it fully, that the two have become one. And therefore, everything of yours should now become one, right? And I think, well, that is ideal. Ni kama venye hata sisi tunajua kama Wakristo tunafaa kuwa tunatembea bila dhambi. But labda hata before nifike hapa leo nimetenda dhambi 3. So I'm not perfect. You get? A way in which women are disenfranchised in marriage is that, yes, you're one with that man and God is still working on him. And maybe he's even working on himself. But you know he lacks transparency. He lacks accountability. He does not want to be open about, you know, money. He clearly has abusive tendencies. Like you can tell all of that.
And you still want to.
You should not combine finances with that kind of a man, no matter what religion says. Because there's also a standard that God was expecting when he says that we shall become one, that we have transparency, that we have accountability, that we are both willing to, ukiulizwa na by the way, kwani unafanyanga nini na mshahara yako? Uniambie mimi ni mwanaume ufai kuniuliza. I'm not combining finances with that person. You have to apply wisdom, right? Because that is a big, big area in which I'm seeing a lot of wives and a lot of women in relationships become disenfranchised because you want to just, it's like, who are you impressing? Huku nje hata hatujui, hata hatujali. So you want to really, really be honest about what kind of a man or what kind of a woman am I with? And do they deserve that level of vulnerability? It needs to be met. We need to meet each other at a vulnerability point, right? So I've always recommended, maybe if you feel like, let's say there's a lot of values bado hazija align, because again as married people I think if we were all honest, you would say si kila kitu ati we na your husband mko 100% aligned. Matter of fact, like me and my husband, we are water and oil.
Most of them.
Mimi, I am a planning person, structured person. I can tell you what I've spent to the very 0.25. I know. My husband on the other hand is a happy-go-lucky person. Kwanza nashanganga sasa hizi ni nini mnataka kufuata? Yani 25 bob ya transaction charges unataka kutrack.
Ya nini?
Itamuumisha kichwa. Unaona, so we are very different. You get? And I think those differences should be welcomed. They should be understood, but every family should have a constitution. So like, for example, in our marriage, what we do is that we have an arrangement where there's his money, her money, then our money. You get? And I've found that works a lot. And interestingly, with good vulnerability communication, I'm very private to his money, but it is under his name. You get? And he's very private to what's going on with my money, even though it is under my name. And then everything with relation to the baby, to investing for the future, for the home, for the school fees, to setting up trust funds for the child, like all of those things, because they are concerning of the family, paying medical insurance, the car insurances, all of that. Like we are
our money.
Yeah, it is our money. You get? I've always advocated that everyone should still, I think I like to talk about, in finance, I like to talk about marriage as freedom within boundaries. You get? You should your still
freedom
have
is up to here.
Yes, you should still have that individuality, because we are not the same and we cannot force one person. Like me, you'll never make me a spender. Like as much as I'm working through it, I still deal with guilt. Nakwambia Cele, nikiamka tu hapa niende nifanye massage,
utafeel vibaya.
Bado na unlearn. Yani I'm working on it.
Okay,
yani naweza rudi nikijuliza kai.
Sisi wengine ni kwanza tunafanya alafu baadaye tunakumbuka gai tumefanya.
Unaona. Sasa imagine sasa mi uniforce ati ni kwetu mi kazi yangu tu niku nini ama ni force, let's say my spouse akuyati anaanza kutrack hadi transaction charges. Unaona. So we have to operate, but for me the principle is simple: transparency, openness, and also for especially women being able to know the signs and symptoms of financial abuse. I think we talk about abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, but I've seen settings where there's none of that, but there's a lot of financial abuse.
Wow.
So knowing how to detect that I am actually in a financially abusive relationship.
Like I'm here because of the money.
Yes, or even simple things like, for example, control. Who controls the money? Do you have access?
I keep on asking. That's financial abuse. I have to ask ya salon.
Pesa ya salon. Ata chakula ya nyumba. Why? You know that when you're living and you're leaving me with the children at home,
we need food.
Yes. That's financial abuse.
Okay.
Control and access is the biggest. Like who has control and who has access. Because I've even seen situations where, because I really want to be a good Christian wife, my salary comes
and then I
give all of it to hubby. Then or maybe vice versa, you get. And then now it's like, yeye tu ndio akona access. Like siezi enda tu nichukue, for example.
And you know that was our moms back in the day.
Tuachie
pesa ya mboga.
So that one, that's the who has control. No one person should have more control
than the other
over finances than the other. Okay? And if then you do not trust each other, like huyu ni gambler, then maintain separate accounts, because even you as a woman, you need to definitely have access to your money. And if you're in a setting where you're a stay-at-home wife, so that means you don't work in the corporate space. You work, you're just not working in the corporate space.
Or you're doing this home labor.
Yes, like it should be. Unajua mbona? Because wewe kama ungekuwa umeandika house girl hapo, si ungekuwa unamlipa. So especially in those settings, he needs to give you access to the money, or he needs to put money under your name, investments under your name, assets under your name. Because then again, this man could leave, he could pass on, he could be disabled or incapacitated. You have to make certain decisions. You do not even have a clue or an idea where the money is, for example. So those are some of the signs and symptoms. The third one, constantly having to take loans on behalf of him. We do that a lot, Cele. Wacha nisikudanganye. Kuchukulia mabwana zetu loan. Yes, huyo ni husband. But unamchukulia loan and
unamchukulia na jina ya nani?
Yako.
Oh,
yes.
And like my name.
And I'm not saying all of it is financial abuse, because you could be my spouse and may work in a government institution or somewhere where I have access to very affordable, for example, market rate ya mortgage huku ikiwa 9.5 ya KMRC, job kwetu maybe tunapata 4% ama 5%. So there's that scenario. What I'm talking about is this person constantly makes you take loans on their behalf and you end up paying them. It's almost like, I'm not saying a one-off situation, I'm saying a trend where you are always the one who's putting yourself at risk. You get, so the loan is in your name.
That is financial abuse.
That's financial abuse, because they're like, oh babe, hii biashara ilianguka. Haya, lakini kuna hii ingine nimeambiwa na nani inaweza tu, lakini hiyo anasema tu saa yenye ni time ya kuchukua loan. But like the moment now you need accountability for what did the money do, where did it go, can we account for it? It's almost, and when he's trouble, you see the loan is in your name. You'll still end up paying for it. That is financial abuse. So it's nuances. It's not usually in your face. There are people who do it, yes, in your face, but there's nuances of that, right? Or just basic outright stifling your growth, stifling your career, all of that. There are very many signs of financial abuse. So I think marriage is very dynamic, as you say.
It is very wide. And I love that you've talked about those who don't earn, but are working. Like, stay at home, I think those are the most strongest women that I know. So if you don't pay that woman, atatengenezwa nywele na nini? Like amejitolea nile, so they need to be paid as well.
Unafaa kuhakikisha akona access. Unaona, so whether hata kama ni I mean kama our grandparents walikuwa wanaachiwa hapo ka 200, unaona? But also what I mean is for example, when you're buying property, put her as a joint holder, because she's stayed home for 20 years or 10 years raising your children, looking after the home. She would have been out pursuing her career, making money. And why I say joint accounts is that joint ownership is the best. You know why? Because when the spouse dies, it automatically becomes the wives. If you don't protect your wife like that, your mother, your sisters, your brothers, your relatives can come and claim. And then you see not everyone has a marriage certificate. Because a marriage certificate in that case would have protected you legally. When now we are going into succession, the court prioritizes the office of the spouse and that of the children first. And then everyone else comes. But for me to prove I'm a spouse, Cele,
I don't have even a marriage.
No. So some ways in which you can protect that kind of a woman or even your wife. It's simple things like if we are buying a kamulu, kanini hapo,
tuandike tu jina mbili.
Both of our names should be on it. If we, let's say, if you have a car, just have that joint ownership. If you can even put a money market fund in her name and just start putting money there, right? So that even if you ever pass on or something ever happens to you, she has that liquidity to even go and seek out a lawyer and say, by then my husband had this pension, he had this, he had the other. I would actually like to have access to that in the marriage certificate. I want your watoto. You see, so we need to really, that's why I'm saying transparency in marriage is everything. Because then you see a lot of us now hide.
Yeah, we hide.
Yeah, so you don't even know your husband is a landlord in Kitengela with a whole skyscraper.
It's not even funny.
Yeah.
Like it is sad.
Yeah. And then of course now because of finances, we don't know, we've not discussed things like, we don't know how to properly do succession planning.
Also the fact that utaketi chini uambie bwanako, tuandikwe sisi wawili. Haujui kama ataichukulia like, am I being too much? Like by the time you even exactly, by the time you're telling him, now that car, hiyo gari umenunua,
si tuandikwe wawili.
Unashindwa, atashangaa uko na akili mbaya ni.
Ulitoa
ngapi hapa? Na wabeba.
Ni nini mbona uandikwe?
Kwani uandikwe?
Yeah.
Kwa nini yeye andikwe basi? Like, you know, it's in ile ya gun na gun.
Nagan. Yeah. And now this is part of, a lot of our spouses, whether it's the woman who's doing well financially or the guy, because even for women right now, most women, some women are out earning their men significantly, like you're earning times 10.
Yeah.
Then someone is telling you at that kabima you've bought, you indicate it as joint owner. It's not just a men issue,
but
it
is the woman okay doing that?
Correct.
Is the woman okay doing that?
Is the woman okay doing
unajua
it?
kitu si one sided.
Si ndio nakwambia, we have to meet each other at a same level of vulnerability.
Yeah.
But then again, I think, Cele, to be honest, what I've noticed, even as we're having some of these conversations, is that a lot of, especially husbands, because Africa pretty much has been patriarchal for the longest time, right? Most of these men, sometimes when you tell them all of these things and you explain to them how succession court works, they are genuinely shocked. They do not know that that is what will happen to their assets the moment a death certificate is issued. Then they just assume that the wife will go to Equity Bank, ask for the money, and they'll be given the 800,000. That's not how it works. A court has to put an order, like the process has to be followed, and an order has to come from the court for me, even as a woman with a marriage certificate, to access that money in that Equity Bank.
Oh, it is not as easy as...
It is not.
Wait, even with a marriage certificate?
Nope. Succession, lazima ifanywe, Cele. Lazima succession ifanywe.
And I'm assuming it's a process.
It is a process. It can even take, without any dispute, like no one is fighting you and your children. No brother, no relative has come to fight. No bonus wife has come to also fight. You know? It can take a year. That's without any. Yes.
Wait.
Yes, pretty much.
Without any contradiction.
Without.
So what happens to the kids in that year, during that year?
Si watakosa tu kwenda shule kama mna pesa ama mkope. And this is why access is important. Because if you had given me access,
hata singeenda court order.
Thank you.
I didn't know that.
But are we ready for that conversation though?
No, I didn't know
but
that.
It's also, we don't know.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know what happens in succession court. And so you just think that your wife is just being unbearing.
We're just being too much.
Being too much. Akikwambia, bebe, hizi mashamba unabae,
niandike.
Please nieke. Hizi manini unafanya.
And then pia nashindwa.
Make me private. Even if you're not going to andika me, just make me aware that there's this, especially if we have children. And it is not just husbands. I'm now saying even you as a wife, if you're genuinely, unless mnapanga tu, mko kwa ndoa na mnajua tu mnadanganyana uko ndani, hiyo ni sawa, niendeleni tu na hizo uongo. But if you know that genuinely this is a person you're doing life with, you are raising children together, you genuinely love those children and you want them to have a good life, even you as a woman, please tell your husband,
niko na hii na hii na hii na hii na hii.
Because hiyo pesa ukikufa na wajui itaenda kwa unclaimed assets.
Gavana
yotajibamba nayo. And imagine you've done, Cele, who are you working hard for? The money you earn. Exactly. So they can't even have access because they are minors, because even their father did not know that this, that, and the other exists. Better yet, even if you do not trust your husband, tell a sister. Tell someone. What just you have. Tell someone na nakwanga na meme fulani hapo iko na 80k. Na by the pia siku ingine nilienda na nyuki nikashika shamba. Tell someone. So that on the bare minimum, someone can even go to Sanlam and tell them, hey, I think my sister had a product here. Yeah. This is her name and this is her ID. Even if you don't know the specifics of the product,
they will help
then
you
now
get
they
it.
can, then but you still have to go to court back. Now once you figured out
at
what
least
is
you
there,
figured out this something,
and then now you get. So there's a lot that we need to do as couples to be able to protect African families. African families are not very well protected in finances. We leave our wives, our husbands, our children vulnerable all the time. Ukiangalia Indian families, they have trust funds. They communicate. These kids are in the family businesses and so they know what their parents are doing, even if not, fully comprehending it. we leave a lot to chance. So I think that building that structure, having these conversations when menda out pale Java Sunday after church, like just beginning to a step at a time. Usiangushie mtu tu kibom.
Nataka uniandike kwa hiyo gari, uniandike kwa hiyo shamba, uniandike kwa hiyo wewe uniandike wewe
pole
pole kesho.
Yeah. So marriage is very, it's diverse. Yeah, but those are the few things I think I would say. That transparency, being keen on there's no financial abuse, but also now trying to start see how you can structure and plan better to protect yourselves and your children in the case of worst case scenarios. Because the worst case scenario may not be every day in your household, but it's every day in the world. Ni vile jagonga mlango kwako.
Ikifika kwako ndo una relate kabisa. Now, parting shots. What do you think? I don't know. I've seen it on TikTok. I've seen it where women where girls choosing not to work. Like hii ni kitu imenikujia kwa akili because we have the one who's chosen to stay at home and raise the kids, but we have someone who's personal choice. I don't want to work. I just want a soft life. I just want a soft life.
From where?
Like I want to...
What is the soft life?
I want to get someone. I want to be maybe a girlfriend. I want to be maybe a spouse, a wife. But not I quit work to go and raise my babies. You see, that one is someone who, due to something, I had to do this. This is someone from the initial stages.
Ameshaamua.
Well, sijui kama ataambia mwenzake kwa hiyo dating stage. But unimse ashasema, like I don't want to work. Like, I just want a soft life.
I just want a soft life and I want a man or a woman to finance it.
I want someone, a man or a woman, because it's both, it's both genders.
To finance.
How do you see it? Because na pesa hakuna money.
I have a hard time wrapping my head around that so much. But also I think because I'm a wakabi myself, I think I'm a believer in that a woman's biggest protection is her finances.
Okay.
Because when you have money, your own money, there are situations you will not find yourself in and you will not stay in, even if you find yourself in them, because you have the tools to be able to get out.
The tool.
Actually, the main tool to be able to get out of it, right? If you're mentally there, right? So to that girl, I think I would say, because I mean, this is 2025, mambo ni mengi Cele. If you're that kind of a girl, the assets better be in your name.
Okay.
If something is not in your name, it's not yours. Yeah, like I can buy you cars, I can buy you a house, I can do all of that. Do you understand?
Yeah.
But I'm like, kama hapo ndio maisha imetufikisha, and that's what you want for yourself,
that's okay.
We won't judge you.
It's okay.
But please do not be delusional, because if a car is ati babe bought me a car and you can't show me a logbook like this with Susan Wanjiku Mbiti, it's not yours. Even that big house that you're posting on TikTok, as long as remember, ownership and access, that's what determines whether you're really taken care of. So if indeed you find a man that is willing to put assets in your name, you know, in your name legally, you get, like this money market fund was opened by Susan. Hata kama si anekanga pesa, the ID, the KYC documents ni zake. So ule mwenye atakuza kutoa ni ye. You get?
Okay.
Well and good. Like the assets better be in that girl's name.
I get it.
Yeah. Because if it's not in your name, it's not yours. If it's not legally in your name, it's not yours. You're lying to yourself. Yeah. But also I would be very curious why you don't have a purpose.
It's a choice.
Or I guess it's a choice.
My purpose is to sleep.
Yeah, I'm very curious on a day-to-day basis what they would be doing.
Sleep, brunch, Netflix.
Okay.
So on
must
so
be
forth.
Nice.
Yeah.
Husband, unaona Kenya watu wengine wanafanya mabibi zao.
Retail
nifanye hivyo pia mimi.
Because I'm like, ni mtu amesema hiyo nataka. So you see, if you're dating and maybe from the onset, I don't want to work. Na ukubali. Then nilishakwambia.
Yeah.
Mimi nilishakwambia hata nikitaka ya kucha ya nywele
nilishakwambia. Mio sijui utakuwa mazee itabidi umeniekea assets mob in my name ndo hata nikubali hiyo ndoa kuingia. Hizo assets already ziko in place.
But pia hiyo ni burden kwa mtu mwingine.
Yeah, it's difficult for me to understand that. It's really difficult.
Thank you so much, Susan. I love that you've told them don't be delusional.
Yeah.
At least hata kikubaia gari babe, karatasi imeandikwa nani. And I think hizi vitu usemwa up until igonge kwa mlango yako.
Okay.
Ile gari inachotwa uko like hiyo gari ni beba alinibaia. Unaambiwa si jina ndo hii. Si ndo logbook ya gari.
Unajua kuna watu wajaiona logbook. Uliletewa gari ukafanya photoshoot Instagram na ujawaiona hivi logbook.
Unaambiwa hii gari tunachukua. Uko like hii gari ni yangu. Unaambiwa si ndio hii KD. Jina yako iko wapi hapa?
Do you know something else people are doing, Cele, that is so unfortunate? Wow. They are taking the car on credit. Hata anaweza acha kulipa. Sitakuwa tu repossessed. Hata kaiko in your name.
Itachukuliwa bado. Akipatitisa. Aki tumekuwa watu wabaya.
Tumekuwa watu wabaya sana.
Aki tumekuwa watu wabaya.
So that's what I'm saying, honesty and
transparency.
Kama kuna honesty na transparency, wefanya pesa tu peke yako.
Bottom line, actually.
Where at least hawezi jidanganya.
Kama, actually that's the bottom line.
Yeah.
If you don't, Anyway, thank you so much, Susan. I feel like hapo kwa relationship and money is a topic we would dive deeper.
For sure.
Because we've seen relatives, we've seen people on TikTok saying relatives walikama wakachukua.
Yeah.
Now we've seen it's coming very close home. Very close home. So I think that's, but thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you. There's one thing you didn't finish. You said we have hoarders, we have spenders, we have savers and
savers, splurgers,
and we have the two more.
Then we have the money monk. That's a money personality. A lot of them are religious, the money monks, because they believe they believe that, you see this scripture that says, the love of money is the root of all evil.
You believe that?
No, now they misconstrue it, because scripture actually says that the love of money is the root of all evil.
Yes.
But there are people who believe that money is the root of all evil.
So they don't want it?
There are people who genuinely feel like, yani utaki kukua ambitious, utaki kupenda pesa, because iyo ni greed, like your value system clashes with the idea of wealth.
So for them,
money monks struggle with yani unafeel kama, and that's what I'm saying, a lot of them are religious. I don't want to just say they're Christians, but there's a religion or a nini you subscribe to that causes that your actual values that you subscribe to clash with the idea of wealth. They clash with the idea that you could have abundance. Right? And for Christians, especially because me, I'm a Christian, I like to challenge that, because scripture actually has said that the love of money that would cause you to kill, to steal, you're willing to do anything is there. But money is it in itself, in its essence. Scripture says that silver and gold belongs to him, and he owns cattle on 1,000 hills. That's a God of abundance. Silver and gold belongs to him. He's a God of abundance. Even in Isaiah, it says that I, the Lord your God, will teach you how to profit. You know what profit is? Profit is excess. It is all the income minus all the expenses, profit. Yani, in other words, God has nothing against us having
money,
abundance. You get, and I think a lot of Christians ikitu inatugonga, hii tutaongea siku ingine tu.
Pesa inatugonga
vibaya sana, because let me just say it. When you look at why some agendas in the secular world are progressing, and they progress very well, unfortunately, it's because there's money and resources going to those causes. The reason we can't be effective as Christians, we cannot push for certain good agendas in the world, in our communities, it's because we lack the money and the resources. You can't even command respect in a boardroom. Because sisi ndio wenye poor people tuko hapo, unaona, na ndio tunataka kwenda Sunday kuinua hands to receive, lakini Monday to Thursday we usomi, hauweki bidii,
haujitumi.
haujitumi, utaki kufanya marketing, utaki tu,
That's true.
yeah.
Unangoja
So,
Yesu apeane.
so that's why I'm saying it's really hitting us, because you should do. I go to church every Sunday and I receive. But trust me, Monday to
Saturday,
I'm grinding. Like I'm doing what I'm supposed to do with my hand. Think about the even the parable of the talents. The one that was given, there was one that was given 5, there was one that was given 3, na kuna ule mwenye alipata moja. Huyo alipata moja, haku multiply, hakufanyia anything. Hiyo ndio hiyo laziness ya kukaa tu kisema I receive. But hao wengine walienda wakafanyisha hiyo 5 talents kazi. By the time the master was back, alikuwa amemultiply kwa 10. So God actually expects us to multiply. It's a principle, it's a Christian principle, yeah? So nimesema the saver, the spender, the saver, the spender, the hoarder, the saver splurger, the money monk, and finally the gambler, the risk takers.
The ones who are making it, the ones who are doing so well.
But they also...
High risks.
Yes. Gamblers are unattached to the idea of ati lazima money. Like they are very pro looking for. So I don't just mean gambling as in doing the actual gambling, but they really...
take risks.
Yeah, they take a lot of risks. They tend to make a lot of money, but they also tend to lose a lot of money. You understand? Yeah. So, and then also the way they think in terms of finances, it's like, what can I do with this money? I don't want, that's the kind of a person you can't convince to put money in a money market fund. Because to them, imekaa bure. You understand? Like they have to always, like to them, money needs to be out there, it needs to be doing liquidity, stuff. It needs to be, lazima kukuwe na that liquidity. But then also they are actually more than willing to do anything risky and riskiest to actually be able, like they're always in pursuit of more money. They're not grounded people. And kitu funny, do you know, just the same way we have the social temperaments, the sanguine, the melancholic, the phlegmatics, everyone has, you don't just have to be one. Because like for me, I'm a hoarder, but I also tend to have that saver splurger tendency kidogo. But it makes sense because of my hoarding tendencies. You understand?
Yeah.
So you don't have to just be one money personality.
And there's no single of them who is like the best.
No, not necessarily.
They all have their own
it's like how we can't say introverts are bad or extroverts are good.
They all have their
vice
strengths
versa.
and
They all
weaknesses.
have their strengths and weaknesses. So a book I would recommend, there's a book called The Psychology of Money by a guy called Morgan Housel. One of the best books I've read in terms of understanding your psychology when it comes to money, why you think the way you do. Because money personalities just play one small part. And then there's what we call nature and nurture. Your nature as a person and how you are nurtured, the background and, baggage and background. Like in terms of how did you see your parents handling money? How did you grow up hearing about money? What were you exposed to? What were you not? So all these things contribute to overall how you behave with money.
Yeah. Wow. Kwa hiyo yote, mimi I think kama spender.
Kuserereka yote ni yako.
I'm a spender. Hapa kwa saver and something.
Saver splurger.
Not really. But maybe somewhere hapo. Maybe a percentage. But no. Either saver na gambler. Like
you like to take risks?
Once in a while. Not sana. But once in a while.
I wouldn't tell.
I think it's because of the person I live with.
Yeah.
Ye ni gambler. So I think imenifikia in a way.
Imekupata. You see who you marry matters. Because we rub off on each.
Yeah,
we
that's
rub
true.
off on each other.
That's very true.
Yeah.
But thank you so much, Susan.
This was so good.
Hey, I think I need that personal coaching lesson because there's a lot to learn.
There's a lot to learn.
Like there's
and
a lot to learn.
Ending. Hata sisi tunakanga tukilearn. Hakuna mtu apprehend, na ndio maana naambianga tu sio angalia mtu sema ati sasa huyu ndo anajua mambo ya pesa sana na mimi sijui. Like all of us are on that learning curve. Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Niko hapa tunajiuliza from pale kwa msea juu story ya bank all the like it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's really a lot if you think about it. And then at the same time we have someone who doesn't want to work. Mambo ya pesa leo ni ngumu.
mengi, si ndio? Yeah.
But thank you so much, Suzanne. I hope I'll have you again.
Yes,
mwaka
please.
ikianza.
Yes.
Sasa tunaingia
tukuje
msimu wa
kuplan. Next year sasa tutakuja to plan tujue ni wapi ndo tunafaa tukua tukiinvest.
Sasa spenders ndo tunaingia msimu wetu.
Mumefikiwa.
Na our savers whatever. This is our time. But thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much even for sharing your knowledge with us. Like tumelearn so much.
Me too.
You know, if it needs to, for some of us to go and start talking to their spouses, pole hii Christmas. Kama ana smile mwambie na kwa kale ka property sunieke. Like if he needs to, nisaidie na hiyo logbook nione hii gari na kwanga imeandikwa nani. You know, if at all one person will do something that itamsaidia in future. Asemange it is Susan Wanjiku nilimwona, I'll be very happy.
Wow, thank you. Thank you. We are all about impact for sure.
Exactly. Thank you so much guys for watching. I hope, especially women, and of course men as well, but women sisi ndo tuko na shida sana na pesa. I hope you've learned something, and I hope you're also going to take something from this. At least jaribu. Anza na hiyo gari babe alikupaia. Anza na hiyo shamba babe. Hatusemi babe ni mbaya, na hatusemi atunaenda ukimwattack. We just want to be safe in case the unknown happens. But yeah, thank you so much. I feel ningekuwa na
notebook.
Like that was so eye-opening. Nimelearn vitu mingi sana. Guys, up until next week, tunaingia season ya Christmas. I'm going to be interviewing business people. Tusikie na wao 2025 imekuaje, like their lessons, their wins, whatever they choose to carry forward, whatever they choose to leave behind. Come this December, ndakuwa nawaangushia episode. Ndo come January to learn from them, okay? Bye.